Hello, guys. We are back for a brand new episode of the podcast, and today we have a very special guest with us. He has a solid amateur record of 15 wins and one loss, and he's going to be making his professional debut on XFC YoungGuns 3 in Grand Rapids, Michigan, on August the 6th. Jett, the fighter Grande, how are you, man?
I'm really good. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's 4 p.m. now, kind of. Your fight's not too long away. Uh, probably what, 2 weeks away now? Around
3 weeks,
or
just
three
under
weeks?
3 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
about two,
just
three
under
weeks
3 weeks.
away. How's
Yeah.
preparation been going? How's training been going?
Really good actually. Yeah, I've been getting really good training. You know, I'm training here in Red Deer, Arashido. This shirt right here, and then also I'm training. I'm going to Calgary, just another city. uh, like an hour and a half from me. I've been going there, really getting work with really solid training partners. Yeah, camp's been really good. I'm feeling sharp. So yeah.
All right, nice. Yeah, I just want to talk about that. So you just mentioned your gym, Arashido. I mean, it sounds like something out of Cobra Kai, but
Yeah.
that's the first thing I thought when I saw it. I mean, we hear the teams TriStar, H2 MMA, Toshido.
Yeah.
Tell the people about your gym, Arashido. Give us some insight.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Rashido, it's a franchise actually. So yeah, we got a lot of schools. But I'm under the Rashido Red Deer, under Gary Vig. He's a world-class coach, really good Kyokushin, karate, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Just alone in our Arashido Red Deer, I think we have 4 or 5 black belts, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, a really solid team. Gary Vig's a world-class coach for all combat sports, a really good MMA coach. Yeah, he's been helping me since day one, and yeah, I'm glad to be under him. And we're starting to build up a solid team again too. So yeah, it's looking really good.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at a few of your fights. You've got a how do I put it? Some people have written you fight like Khabib. I think GSP as well, though. GSP as well with the
Yeah,
powerful doubles. But
100%. Yeah.
for people that that may not have seen you fight, how would you describe your style? Like, what's your main background?
Oh yeah, so actually, to be honest with you, I started out in pretty much everything. I started out doing just a little bit of kickboxing, a little bit of nogi, a little bit of wrestling. Kind of started out with everything, but I really put a lot of emphasis into wrestling, as you can probably see from my fights. I just feel like that's in MMA. That's really, if you're winning the wrestling, you're usually winning the fight, and you're usually dominating it. So that's really what I've put the emphasis on. But I train all the skills. I'm trying to progress everywhere as a fighter. But yeah, me as a fighter, I'd say I'm an explosive athlete, who likes to put a high pace on you. Explosive takedowns, explosive wrestling. I can put you up against the fence, beat you there. I can take you down out in the open as well. I like the ground and pound. Really ground pound. I can ground pound from any position. Solid top game. I like the top game, and I like the box. Have heavy hands. So yeah, that's about me as a fighter.
Yeah, let's say you like to brawl, man. Yeah,
Yeah, I've been in a couple brawls for
yeah,
sure.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm watching. I'm like, you're just taking some shots to give a shot, man. And then, yeah, like
Yeah.
your fights have been quite wild, man. Your amateur fights. I mean, it's your pro debut.
Yeah.
But, how old were you when you started initially? Like, because you mentioned.
Yeah. When I started training, I was about 12 years old. I actually started at Pure Fitness under Jason McDonald. He's a UFC fighter. I think he's had about 13 fights. So I started
Never
training
heard that
him
name.
for a year. Yeah, and then basically what happened, he just kind of wanted to get away from the MMA business. He wanted to focus more on the CrossFit. So then I made the transition to Arashido, Red Deer, where I am now, and I've just stuck there ever since. And then I've trained there for, I had about 2 or 3 years of training, and then I did my first grappling tournament. and then and then eventually I did a little bit of high school wrestling tournaments, and then I did a lot of grappling tournaments, actually, like no-gi tournaments. I probably did like, I can't even remember the exact number, but like at least 25, maybe 30 grappling no-gi tournaments. So
Oh,
when I had going into my first fight, I had already had a ton of experience, competition experience. So I wasn't like too nervous. Although the thing with my first fight was I was pretty adrenalized because it was a little different. But yeah, so when I had my first fight, I was about 17 years old. So that was my first amateur fight. Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, really young,
Yeah.
man, 17.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
The guy I was fighting, I think he was early 30s too. So
wow. Imagine that 17-year-old. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a crazy one, right? You don't think about it. Like
Yeah.
you don't think you're 17 and the other guy's 30. You just think, you know what, I'm having a fight. But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah, that's
No, it's
crazy.
cool.
So obviously you took your first fight. When did you kind of know, you know what, I'm gonna go with this 100%, like forget everything else? Did you go college or did you like nah?
I actually did go to college,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, I did a 2 year. I got a 2 year diploma for kinesiology.
Oh,
But
nice.
to be honest with you, I think the goal ever since I was a kid was to pursue this full time. And
Okay.
I honestly, even in high school, even in college, I was still training like twice a day. It was definitely a grind, but yeah, I was still like in my mind, like honestly, the first week training at Pure Fitness, my first gym I went to. I knew I just like I watched a couple UFC Unleashes beforehand too, and I just fell in love before. I'm like, I want to be one of those guys. And first week I loved it. So like, yeah, I've always had this kind of ambitions.
All right. So you said you had a kinesiology background. Is that
Yeah.
all that anatomy and physiology kind of helped you in your
Oh
training?
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, yeah, and then exercise, exercise and stuff like that. So
So
yeah, and
you
it's
know
just
with
like
yeah, with strength and conditioning, is that kind of something you do
yeah,
yourself or
yeah.
so
I do
due to
my own
your
strength and
background, right?
yeah.
So
Yeah, I do my own strength and conditioning. So yeah.
all right. So
I,
you said you're going to train in Calgary.
yeah.
So which team is that? Is that the same team, Rashido, or is that another gym?
No, it's actually with Brad Cardinal's MMA. Yeah, I've been doing cross training for this camp. Brad under Brad Cardinal, he's a great coach. A couple sessions with him, and then Justin Bazara. He's one of my training partners, but also he's helping me coach for this camp. He's coaching me a little bit for this camp. Amazing wrestler, like one of the most talented wrestlers and MMA fighters I've ever seen. So super technical. So yeah, and then all the guys over there, like they're all world class. And then also like I said, we're having a really good team at Rashido Red Deer as well. So yeah, I'm really pumped.
All right. So we've gone through all that. 2018 now hits. You're probably how old would you be? You'll be
I'm
about 20 years
23.
old. You're 23 now, but I'm saying
Yeah,
you would have been 20 years old when you were being. So 2018 IMMAF, you won the
yeah,
Junior World Championships, right? So for people that don't know about
yeah,
IMMAF, just describe that for them because a lot of people don't know the amateur scene. IMMAF's kind of
yeah,
totally different, right? It's more like
yeah,
an Olympics kind of for the amateurs. So you kind of won that in a way.
100%.
Um, so if you could just explain that and how that kind of catapulted you to quite some stardom, before your pro careers kind of started in a way. So could you just describe that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like you said, like the IMMF is basically the Olympics of MMA, basically, because you look at Olympic boxing, it's the top amateurs, going to compete against each other. Yeah, it's the same thing with IMMF. I know IMMF, they really want to get in the Olympics, but yeah, basically what IMMF is, they select a couple athletes from each country to represent a weight class, and they go and compete against up to 32 different countries per weight category. So yeah, it's an MMA tournament, and it's a week long. So you have one fight a day, and then you can have up to 5 fights a week
All
for the
right.
final. So yeah, that's what I competed in, and They have a whole. So IMMAF does a bunch of different tournaments. They have the Pan Americans. They have the Asian Opens. They do the European Open Championships, African Championships, and then the World Championships, which is the biggest. Yeah, my first time I went in the World Championships, and then I went in the junior category, youth 21s, and I won that at 20 years old. And yeah, and then from there, from there I went in the Pan Americans and then Europeans. And
did you just to clarify, did you win the Pan Americans? Because I saw two fights.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you had the two fights, and then
yeah.
So you won that as well. So wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wasn't sure if you actually won the Pan Americans or if something happened because I saw two fights. But
yeah, no, I did win that. Yeah.
All right, wow, 15-1. So your last fight, you got a shoulder injury, right? Did you have a shoulder injury?
Yeah, I did. That was in 2019 of June, I think. And yeah, so basically what happened actually, first, literally the first 10 seconds, I went to go take the guy down. As I take the guy down and go to a double leg transition into a knee tap, and then I don't know, this shoulder just popped right out.
Yeah, dude, your knee taps, man. You get them all the time. Like each fight, So obviously, that can happen at times, isn't it? I mean, at least it's happening in the amateurs, isn't it, and not the pros. So I guess, so after that, obviously, it's been what, 2 years now?
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years. Wow. So 2 years pro debut. I mean, you've signed now with a quite big agency, MTK MMA, with under Rizwan, right?
Yeah, under Rizwan. Yeah.
All right. So how is it being signed under Rizwan, MTK MMA now in your pro debut? It's a big agency.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm really blessed to be signed with them. Probably the best decision I've made for my career and my life. So basically, how that happened was one day I was like, it was like after, it was like 2020 of May, June, July. Like I was really looking for a fight, not really had any success. Like I had a couple managers approach me, but like they didn't really catch my attention too much, and some of them offered me possible fights with Brave. I tried to get that going, but yeah, nothing worked out. So, but Rizvan reached out to me, I think, last year in 2020, late last year, 2020, he said, he proposed what he was going to do for my career and how he was going to help me. And I said I thought to myself, it was a no-brainer signing with him. And yeah, by far the best decision I've made in my life. I'm really glad to have him on my team. And through him, that's how we got this XFC deal. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to excel in your career, Rizwan's a great manager to have, in my opinion. I mean, I've had other fighters on that are from Rizwan, and they've just said great things about him. So I think that's the right step forward, isn't it? Having the right manager to push your career in the right direction. Yeah. So, talking about Rizwan, he's from Pakistan. You were supposed to fight in Pakistan twice on Flogger Series. I believe the president of Flogger Series is Nasir Khan, Yusuf.
Nasir Khan,
So you were supposed to fight on that. What was it? The COVID? Was it the restrictions that kind of?
Yeah, absolutely. Like actually, I was supposed to fight there April, and then I was supposed to fight there again in June, and then unfortunately got canceled again. So yeah, basically what happened with that first time in April, I was literally, I put in a camp. I was literally a couple days from flying out. Actually, the morning I was about to fly out. The day before I had to get a COVID test. So I got the COVID test, and it came back negative for me. I mean, positive for me. So I wasn't allowed to fly. So I was like, but whatever. Yeah, I was pretty mad, but with that said, a day later, the Pakistan government announced all sporting events will be canceled. So in a sense, it almost saved me because I would have flew to Pakistan, had a 19-hour flight, and never got to fight. So yeah. So I don't know, it kind of worked out, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess if you got there, you would have had some nice cuisine, but other than that, you would just end up in heat and Are you looking to fight in Pakistan in the future?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would love to fight there. and probably with Floggers too. Flogger seems like a great organization. Yeah, I 100% would love to fight there. Yeah.
All right, nice. We'll get to your fight now because you're actually fighting on the main event for XFC YoungGuns 3, right?
Yeah.
1st of August. Your opponent now, Damon
Yeah.
Marosco.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on him? Because he's obviously having his pro debut as well. His amateur
Yeah.
career
100%.
isn't as decorated as yours, I would say, but
No,
it's
definitely
MMA,
not.
right?
Definitely not.
It's MMA,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
what do you think of him? What do you think of his style?
Actually, I think he's actually he's probably tougher than what his record says. He's a southpaw. He's got heavy hands. He likes to box, and he's got a bit of a wrestling background. So, it could be a tough fight. But I think my mentality is just gonna be try to steamroll him, and I'm prepared everywhere. Like if it, I can fight standing, I could fight on the ground, I can out wrestle him. So yeah, he's a tough guy. He's a worthy opponent, but I'm gonna plan to be one step ahead of him. Looking to dominate, just like I always do.
All right, nice. I mean,
Yeah.
that fight. I mean, the whole card is pretty. It's got some pretty good matchups. Your main
Yeah.
event, man, first fight,
Yeah.
and another thing is it's on Fox, right? Deportes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's big.
that's quite a big thing, man. You're going to be a national TV, and
Yeah.
would it be was that Mexico? Fox Deportes. Where is that Fox Deportes?
I don't even know, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't even know myself. That's what I'm asking. But it's still on Fox, so let's just say that it's still on Fox. I mean, that's a very big thing for your first fight. For you, like the pressure wise, is there any pressure for you? Is that you've kind of been through that now with the IMMAF?
I've kind of been through that now. Like every fight, there's a little bit of pressure, especially with some time off. But like, I'm going into it as I did any of my other amateur fights. Especially the ones later in my career. Yeah, it's the same. I have the same mentality, same thing to me. So.
Yeah. So I was looking. I've got you on social media, right? So I was looking. Your family is very supportive of your career, man. Like they comment on all your thoughts. How is it? How is it? Like how do they take it when you told them you would like to do MMA, and how does that sport kind of help you within your career?
Oh, absolutely. It helps me. Like I don't even know if I'd be able to do without them, but like it would be a lot harder without them. Let's just say that. But it means the world to me. Support for their support. They've kind of when I was a little young like teen, my mom was a little standoffish, but she turned around and then she's seen what the sport did for me, like the amount of discipline it gave me and all that, and ever since then she's just been 100% supporting me for my goals. And then same with my dad too. So yeah, they've been both very supportive throughout my career.
All right. Did you do any other sports growing up, or was it always martial
Yeah,
arts?
so before martial arts I did downhill ski racing, and then yeah, I did that a bit. And then also I think when I was 13 to 15 I did play a bit of rugby too. So yeah.
Oh, rugby. All right. Yeah. Americans, they don't know anything about rugby. They wear the helmet.
No.
Rugby's a mad sport.
Yeah, it was a great sport. I love rugby actually. Yeah, I love playing it. Yeah, but I just came to the point though. I think I was 15, 16. I just wanted to focus completely on martial arts and MMA, so that's kind of why I stopped that. But yeah.
All right. So obviously MMA now in Canada. How would you describe the scene now? Like for you, is it just so common now where everybody knows it, or is it still kind of people still don't know?
I think some people know me, but yeah, some people it's like most people in the fight game, especially in Alberta, know me, but there's a couple people that still don't know me. So but as I progress.
By the way, but just clarify, I'm not on about just you. I'm on about generally in Canadian, the population kind of wise. How many, when you walk across the street now, how many people actually know MMA that you may speak to? Like that's what I meant as well. So I wasn't.
No, it's nothing like that, to be honest. It's not like I just walk across the street and like some random person. Although in Red Deer, it happens occasionally, but not too often. But yeah. So
Is it,
honestly, like in Canada, they just love hockey, but it's
yeah.
starting to come around. It's starting to come around.
I thought it would have blown up now because obviously GSP and things like that, but I guess it's still
Yeah.
developing. Hopefully, you're the next guy, right?
Yeah.
Be
100%.
developing it.
Yeah.
I mean, have you looked at any other organizations? Like, obviously, you mentioned Brave. Have you
Yeah.
looked at any other like promotions? One Championship. I mean, we have
Bellator, PFL,
Ryzen, Bellator, PFL. Like,
yeah,
all these names. Have you looked
UFC.
at
Yeah,
any of them?
like I'm really open to any of these organizations. UFC, Ryzen, PFL, One FC. Yeah, they'd all be pretty good. So I think it just depends on the time and what they offer me. When that time comes. Yeah, and we'll just play it by ear. But I'm open to any of them. So yeah,
I think eventually they're all gonna be giving you offers, man. Give a few more fights.
yeah,
And
yeah,
if hopefully it goes as planned. But yeah, I think honestly, like with your amateur credentials and if you have a solid professional record, I see it happening in no time. I mean,
yeah,
I had one guy on this show last year.
yeah,
He couldn't even get fights in Bellator, I think, and now he's fighting on the Credendo series.
yeah,
You know, I'm
yeah.
on about Leonardo Damiani.
Oh yeah, Leonardo.
Challenge.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
The
like guys like
same
that,
management team.
when I
Yeah,
interviewed him last year, he had he couldn't even get into Bellator and Cage Warriors or anything. Like he wasn't on any of
yeah,
these shows, and suddenly now
yeah,
look in 1 year
yeah,
after he's on
yeah.
Dana White's Contingency. So in 1 year, you
100%.
could do so much where you'd probably be ending up on Dana White's Contingency series or
100%. Yeah, I would definitely love that in 1 year. Me going in a big show, that would be amazing. Like that's that's a great goal for me. So yeah, I would love that.
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna start off with some lighter questions now. So I'm gonna just it's kind of like a trivia question, but your your favorite fighter. So in sense of when I say favorite fighter, the fighter that you kind of it could be based your style off or someone you just really enjoy watching.
um, that's a tough one. To be honest with you, I think I like George St. Pierre or Khabib, Nurmagomedov. I like those guys. It's kind of like
Okay.
and I like Michael Chandler too. I like those guys.
All right.
Good wrestlers.
Yeah.
You know.
So Joe St. Pierre and Habib, who wins? I don't know. I was like asking that one. I asked that in every like podcast. I just ask every fighter that question just to put them on the spot. But yeah, I mean you're Canadian.
That's that's a tough one. I think it also depends on what weight class because at 170 I would now who knows now, but I think in their primes George St. Pierre wins at 170 and Khabib probably beats him at 155. So I think it just really comes down to what weight class they would fight in. So
All right, like Habib's now retired. I mean, you're the Canadian Habib now. From we'll call you that for trying, yeah, right? Yeah, but yeah, it'd be a hard name to live up to. But I mean, if anyone can do it,
yeah, it is.
But yeah, what do you think of his career? Because I was watching the McGregor and Poirier fight, and I was just thinking, them guys were going back and forth. Obviously, McGregor broke his leg.
Yeah.
But Habib just made them both look very easy. So I was just thinking,
100%.
how solid was it? When you look at a guy like that, is that something that's the aim, like 29-0, 30-0?
Yeah, 100%. Shoot for the stars. Anything can happen in the sport. But yeah, that would be a great goal to reach up to, like 29-0. Like who wouldn't want to be 29-0? So yeah, it'd be great. He's a good guy to look up to, and all the other all-time greats like Mighty Mouse, like Anderson Silva in his prime. George, like all these guys, Jose Aldo when he was beating everyone, like those are the type of careers you want to have as a fighter. Just dominant, dominant and disciplined champion. So
yeah. What's your opinion on like Conor McGregor's antics, like during the fight? Like, I mean, obviously we've had people say it was a bit too much. Do you feel like it was a bit too much? Do you feel like it was a bit cringy from the McGregor you saw a couple of years ago to now, or do you feel like that's just him?
Yeah.
Right. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think I don't know. Like I think he definitely crossed the line a couple times. Talking about family members and stuff. He did it to Poirier, he did it to Khabib, he did it to Aldo as well. Yeah, he crosses the line a little bit too much, but yeah, I don't know. I think part of it is for show, but also I think that's kind of a little bit who he is. He's kind of I don't know. I prefer I don't really like to talk trash like that, to be honest with you. I just like to let my skills and let my performances do the talking. So that's
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I agree with you, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate. So he's a fighter, right? So he's gonna try to get under his skin. So anything he says is free for all in the sense of it's just fighting. But they're not the fighters aren't exactly are not necessarily role models, right?
Yeah.
So would you agree with that? Would you agree with that way thing? So when people say, "Oh, he went across the line," do you feel like well, you're crossing the line anyways because you're going to be punching and kicking each other in the head? So what's your opinion on that? When people say that,
I don't know. Like it's I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I think at the end of the day, like I'd say probably. I'd say at the end of the day, it's a sport, though. You're still, you are punching and kicking, but it's just a sport. At the end of the day, it's not like you're going out in a street fight and actually trying to kill each other. So, I think, at the end of the day, like you can say, oh, it's crossing the line, which I think it kind of is, but like at the end of the day, that doesn't matter because McGregor is going to do that anyway. So, like,
true.
I think for any of the people, it's just important to stay strong mentally and just don't give them the attention and just be stronger than that. Like I think it's honestly just best to ignore him. Just focus on what you're gonna do to him. Like when you're fighting a person.
Do you think he'll never be a champion again? Like from what you've seen, like because I feel like Poirier just has his number now. Like if you just look at 100%. It, like when they were exchanging, like it just felt like Poirier just broke through him. Like it wasn't even an issue for him. Yeah,
I think first, I know that was a kind of a crappy ending to their fight, but I think regardless, Poirier would have beat him up for sure. I kind of like McGregor. Like I'm not the biggest fan of his trash talking, but I like him as a fighter. The things he's done for the sport and stuff like that. But McGregor, I don't see him being a champion again. I don't think he has the same motivation or discipline as he once had. Also his, I think he's kind of past his prime maybe a little bit, but I think with him, what he should do honestly is just have the Nate Diaz trilogy, and then here's my thing: he should have the Nate Diaz trilogy, another money fight, win or lose. I think honestly he should almost like probably stop MMA and just do some celebrity boxing fights where he could probably even make more money anyway. So, in which I think he's a money fighter. Like I think that's what happened to him is since Floyd, like ever since that he fought Floyd Mayweather, he is starting to go downhill. All the money and everything. It's
actually so true. Like I feel like he even lost his style that was making him win. Like he kind of went into a boxer kind of mode, and then suddenly everyone just figured him out. So talking about celebrity boxing matches, we had obviously Anderson Silva for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Do you know? Do you watch that fight?
I've just seen a couple of the highlights, but that was.
But he actually beat a world champion boxer.
Yeah, I did.
Which is like amazing for an MMA guy because MMA guys were just getting thrashed in boxing, unfortunately, for an MMA fan. But that was a big win because he beat a former world champion in his own game, and he's 40-something years old. And they're saying now,
amazing performance.
Yeah, they're saying now. I was reading it. It's rumored that Anderson Silva versus Logan Paul in September. So, what's your thoughts on that?
Like there's no way Anderson doesn't destroy him unless if Anderson is just gonna light spar him, like they're the same weight class. Anderson just beat a former world champion. Like there's no way Anderson doesn't destroy him. If he doesn't destroy him, Anderson is just you just know Anderson is just lightly sparring him. Like I don't know. That's just a weird fight.
I don't see.
I wanna.
Yeah,
Yeah. I want to see Anderson. Anderson always used to talk about back in the day how he wanted to fight Roy Jones Jr. I want to see that. I want to see Roy Jones Jr. fight Anderson Silva. I don't care if it's an exhibition or pro boxing match, but yeah, I want to see that fight. Like that's the fight I want to see.
I do want to see that, but I want him to fight Logan Paul so he gets the money. So he'll get the money.
Yeah,
So
that's the thing. Yeah, he's probably going to get way more money fighting Logan Paul too. So I could see why he wants it. 100%.
Yeah, I think the one fight that disappointed me that never happened was Anderson Silva and GSP in their prime. That one fight.
Yeah, that's I wanted that fight to happen too.
I remember I used to watch the trailer videos and fake ones where he shows Anderson and then GSP. I remember I used to watch them a lot, and that fight. I think new fans don't know how big that was. That how many people wanted that like 10 years ago.
12 years ago. 100%. Yeah, that was like the super fight. Like there's not like that was huge. Like no fight ever made today. Like no fight ever made today. Almost probably in MMA could probably compare to what potential that had. Like that was a huge fight.
I mean, since we were talking about old fights, what was the first MMA fight that you watched that got you?
Yeah, so actually that was I was watching UFC Unleashed. That was Tim Sylvia fighting for the interim heavyweight title against Minotauro Nogueira. That was the first fight I ever watched.
Okay. Well, what year was that when you watched that?
What year?
Yeah, what year did you watch it? Like what?
How old were you? I was. No, I was. I was 13 years old. Yeah, that's when I first started training. Yeah, 13 years old. Yeah.
That's so funny. I started watching MMA when I was 13 as well.
So did you? Nice.
It's actually really weird. Yeah. It's really weird that you said that. But I was having a bit of deja vu there. Like, whoa. I think Nogueira and Tim Sylvia, like the heavyweight division back then. I think it was Nogueira, Tim Sylvia. We had Ovlosky, but he kind of went. You had Wadum coming up, JDS, and then you had Randy Couture. Randy Couture was coming back, and then Lesnar. Yeah. Lesnar kind of made his debut, right?
Yeah, Lesnar kind of.
Yeah, that was the heavyweight division at the time. But what's your opinion on the like heavyweight division now, and like all these kind of divisions, like the evolution, like because obviously you watched it quite over 10 years ago. So, what's your opinion on the progression?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's definitely progressed. Like there was a time, it was like basically when it first started, it was UFC, and then there was Pride. So like Pride was another big one. Maybe some of the newer fans forget about, but yeah, like Pride, you had Minotaur Nogueira, you had Crow Cop, you had Fedor, who Fedor's I still think he's by far the heavyweight GOAT, going 10 years undefeated. Like, one of my other favorite guys. You had him, and then, you had him, and then basically Fedor was the heavyweight king up until I think it was about 2010, maybe.
2011, yeah.
2011, yeah. He got
Verdum got him in it.
Yeah, Verdum, and then and then at that time, heavyweights was crazy because you had by that time Pride was done, but you had Strike Force, you had UFC, and there's a lot of top heavyweights in Strike Force. I remember watching. That's another thing I remember watching the Strike Force heavyweight Grand Prix. Actually, watching Daniel Cormier fight. He's actually one of my other.
He was the ultimate. That's so crazy.
Yeah, he was also one of my other favorite fighters, Daniel Cormier. So basically watching him fight, watching him like ragdoll Josh Barnett, that's kind of like what got me into like, holy shit, I need to focus on the wrestling. Like this is really important for MMA, and that's kind of where I developed some of my skills. But yeah, back then it was Alistair Overeem. He was a tank.
Wow.
Fabrice Verdum. Yeah.
Overeem, I don't know what he was eating. But man.
Yeah, he was a tank. Yeah.
Do you remember his fight with Brett Rogers? Do you know?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Do you remember when he flung him? That Brett Rogers was like 6'5", and he just ragdolled him.
Yeah. Brett Rogers was another big boy, but yeah, Overeem just made him fly like it was nothing. You know, it was a little technique, but yeah, there was a lot of strength in there too. You know, so that was impressive. And yeah, those. And then yeah, like back then, like you had these big heavyweights like Shane Carwin, Brock Lesnar, Alistair Overeem, and stuff like that. But you know, even then, after it was kind of like the big heavyweights were ruling for a bit, like Brock Lesnar ruled for a bit. You know, Overeem was crushing people. You know, it kind of started off like when Fader was around. Fader was okay. Like he wasn't a huge heavyweight. He was about 235, and Crow Cop, same thing. They're about that size. And then eventually started off the real big heavyweights. They started to rule, and then eventually Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos came in, and then the mid-sized guys who were really fast, real technical. That was a big thing, just real technical and had good cardio. And then those guys ended off ruling the heavyweight division. And you can look at it now today. It's kind of it's kind of the same. Cormier, like around that size. I forget who was the champ. Stipe was around that size.
And now we got Ngannou gone back to big heavyweights.
yeah. No, Nagano's 265 plus guy.
Cutting 265.
Oh yeah, it's always changing. Yeah.
Yeah, but Fedor, you mentioned Fedor. Like, have you met that guy in person? Have you met Fedor?
No.
I met Fedor right in 2016.
Yeah,
that guy is the most stoic guy ever, man. I just didn't know what to say to him. Like, I'm just taking pictures.
Yeah,
he was just smiling. He actually smiled though, which is weird. I don't know. I got a smile out of him, but that guy. No, honestly, like I always thought, he's not that big of a guy, but when he walked past, the size of his back, and I was like, okay, yeah, this guy's a heavyweight. He might not be the tallest. He was 6'1", but he was only like 6, right? 6'1", but he was
super athletic,
gigantic guy, man.
Yeah, he's super athletic. He was super technical, but one of why he ruled the heavyweight division was he was also a super athlete too, super explosive, super fast, super strong too. Like he manhandled guys physically and technically, so that's why he was good as he was.
Yeah. I mean, even guys like Crow Cop and I mean the list goes on. That I mean the heavyweight division now. So obviously Ngannou's champion, but they've kind of UFC's kind of taken a different direction now with Cyril Gane versus Derek Lewis. So like, what's your obviously we're talking about heavyweight, so I just thought I'll get your thoughts on that. What's your thoughts on that? Like, do you feel like UFC was a bit too harsh in just making an interim title fight like 4 months after he's won the belt?
Yeah, like I think I would have given Ngannou a couple more months to fight, and him and Derek Lewis is they fought before. It wasn't much of a fight, but I think rematch would be good. And then I think Lewis has I think like Ngannou, actually I would favor Ngannou slightly, but like Lewis is probably one of the only guys that can match him physically with the power and size. So like, so I think Lewis would be a really good matchup for him. So I really wanted to see that fight, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. But Gane versus Lewis, that's also another good fight.
I want to ask your opinion on Cyril Gane. I know this sounds crazy, but he just reminds me of a heavyweight GSP. I know there's something about him.
Does.
There's something about
heavyweight GSP, maybe even like a John Jones.
in some aspects.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's got it definitely reminds me of a GSP.
I think there's a crazy story about him. They said he trained. I was reading something. He trained Muay Thai for 3 months, and he beat a national champion in Muay Thai in his first Muay Thai fight.
Yeah, he's super talented. Super talented technical striker too. I think he had 3 years. I think he has like 3 years of Muay Thai and then 3 years of MMA. So he's actually pretty new, but he's already basically in the top 3 in the world.
He's only 7-0, right? He's only 8-0, I believe.
8,
9-0. He's had less than 10 fights, I think. So
9-0, I think. 9-0. Yeah.
So like, him. Do you feel like he's kind of, obviously if he can take a shot, that is, do you feel like he's kind of a kryptonite for someone like Ngannou? Because they're both same height, similar reach.
Yeah, 100%. Like, that's gonna be a real interesting fight. It's just on. I don't know. Like, can anyone really take a shot from Nagano though? Like,
And
that's the thing.
Lewis
Like,
and Derek Lewis as well. So we'll see if he
yeah,
can take Lewis's shot. If he can take Lewis's shot, I'll give him the advantage over
yeah,
Ngannou, in my opinion. But
100%. I think, yeah, I think ideally for him though, he wants to just stick and move. Get that head movement. Maybe even work in his wrestling if he can. Like, just get a couple shots on. Although that's a little risky. You see Derek Lewis's last fight. Curtis Blades just dive in. He uppercutted him, knocked him out. So you got to be careful all the time. So yeah, I think with him, yeah, we'll see how if he beats Lewis. I think it'll be a really interesting match with him between him and Nagano. And also, if I think Lewis, if he gets past Gagne, it's going to be an interesting match between him and Nagano because I think Lewis is the only fighter right now that can physically match Nagano's power.
yeah,
So
I absolutely agree. Talking about your division, you're in the welterweight division, I believe.
oh, lightweight actually. I'm
Oh,
moving on to
why is?
lightweight.
Oh, you moved down to lightweight now. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was welterweight,
Yeah.
but yeah, okay. So you
Yeah.
moved down. So lightweight.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about welterweight about Kamar Usman, but I guess we'll go
Yeah.
down to lightweight. Charles Oliveira
Yeah.
now. What's your opinion on the
Yeah.
division now? We got Poirier, obviously, he's one. I know you're looking at the division as any fighter would in that division. Poirier's
Yeah.
just beat McGregor, and now we've got Oliveira. How do you see Oliveira and Poirier matching up?
That's a really good fight. Poirier's got some of the best hands in MMA, in my opinion. He's got amazing cardio, a good chin too. He's got really good pressure. That could cause Oliveira some issues. But like, I don't know, man. Oliveira, like every time I watch that guy fight, he's improving leaps and bounds. I think he's got pretty underrated wrestling too. Like he took down Chandler his last fight in a brief moment. He out wrestled Tony Ferguson. His wrestling's looking sharp too. So who knows? I think, and he just knocked out Michael Chandler too. So I think that's a tough fight too. But I think if Charles can get Dustin, like take Dustin down to the mat, I think he could submit Dustin Poirier. That's what I think. But
Okay,
if
okay.
it stays standing in 5-round war or whatever, I think I'll slightly lean towards Poirier.
Like we saw Oliveira get rocked from Chandler. Do you not believe if Poirier cracks him a few times, he won't finish him, or do you feel like Oliveira's now got the resilience? Because you know that saying, right? You can't train hard. But when I see Oliveira, I'm like, that's not true because the guy would quit in his old fights, and then he fights.
Yeah.
He has his biggest fight of his career, and he's fighting Chandler. He gets cracked really bad.
Yeah.
Like Chandler hits really hard, and he survived and ends up beating Chandler. So
100%.
I think that kind of invalidates that statement in my opinion.
Like I think maybe like
Just a mental
Dustin's
switch.
got a bit more volume and more combos than what Michael Chandler throws. But in terms of pure one-shot power, I think Chandler definitely has Dustin Poirier beat. So like if Oliveira can survive Chandler in a sense, he should be able to survive Poirier. So it'll be interesting.
All right, nice. I'm gonna end it with a few more, but I'm gonna ask you your favorite post-fight meal after a fight.
Post-fight,
Yeah. What do you eat? Like what's the first thing you're craving?
usually pizza.
All right, yeah, we're going for the pizza, right?
Yeah.
All right, pizza. So your favorite striking technique?
Left hook.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because I remember one of your fights you got hit and straight away the left hook came out, but a lot. But yeah, it looks like a more of a power shot as well in some aspects. Your favorite grappling technique? So it could be a submission, takedown, or whatever.
Double leg.
Blast double.
Yeah.
Let's say blast double. All right, blast double. Your obviously your I'm gonna give you a list of fighters now. I just want you to give me your opinion on them. So John Jones, very short.
Yeah, one of the goats.
Goats. GSP.
One of the goats again.
Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Lightweight goat. Lightweight.
Okay, lightweight goat. All right.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't equate him to GSP and Jones.
I don't know. It's hard for me to say because I think
Is it the
because
work, the amount of the title defenses and you know
yeah,
what
it's
I
the
mean?
title defenses. That's the only thing. Like I think if Khabib would have kept on going, he would have probably even surpassed those guys. But like, yeah, it's just the title defenses. I think because like Jones has 8 title defenses plus he's won a couple titles, and then Anderson Silva's had 10 title defenses. Demetrius Johnson 11. Even Aldo has 6. So like, it's tough. I don't think you could like Khabib is definitely one of the goats without a doubt. But
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if he's in top 4, but he's one of the goats. Like he'll be one of the greatest.
All right. Next one, Joe Rogan.
Uh, yeah, I like him. Like I love his podcast. So. I love his podcast. Yeah.
Joe Rogan, game on. Game on. Let's say
Yeah.
I mean, all right. And Mike Tyson.
Yeah, actually, I love a super dominant athlete. I love him as a fighter. Yeah, I like him. He's one of the guys I inspired to be as dominant as growing up. So, in my sport.
I don't know if you know your wrestling, but Dan Gable.
Yeah, I like him too. Yeah, he's a good. He's probably the GOAT. Yeah.
All right. A lot of goats in here. But
Yeah,
a lot of
everyone's a
goats
goat.
is
Well, you're naming all the goats. That's why.
okay, you're in a bar and you're gonna get into a brawl. You got one fighter to pick. Who is it? MMA fighter.
Oh, at a bar.
Okay, yeah.
Probably Nagano. Nagano
Yeah.
or Mark Hunt, or maybe
Okay, yeah,
Mark Hunt.
I mean, Marco would be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we're going back 15 years ago now, right? I don't know, you're in your prime. You get to choose 2 contracts, right? One is from Pride, so you can fight in Saitama Super Arena, and the other one is from the UFC, and you fight in Las Vegas, both for the title. Which organization would you have gone for?
Oh, that's a really tough one, but probably UFC, to be honest.
Really?
But yeah, but like I would love to fight. I would love to fight.
I would have for Pride straight away, man. Just to fight.
I would have loved to fight in Pride. I don't know, man. It's honestly, they're pretty close. They're pretty damn close.
And dude, you can take any supplements you want, and there's
it's true. That's true.
yeah,
that is true.
Yeah, but would you want to fight in Japan? Is that something that you've, or is that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would love to fight. Honestly, like I would just love to fight everywhere. Like UFC, like ONE FC. Like imagine a career where you had like fought in every like all the big organizations. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I would love to fight in Japan too. Like I said, I'm open for anywhere.
All right. I think we'll end it here, man. It's been nearly an hour. It's great talking to you, Jett. I mean, just a final thoughts on your opponent. What's your prediction for the fight?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to, let's see. I'm gonna submit him at one point. It's either gonna be a 3-round dominant decision, or I'm gonna submit him in the first round. So there you go.
Oh, okay. We got prediction, people. I mean, XFC, YoungGuns 3. Where can people get the event? People, is it on the website, XFC website?
Yeah, I think it's on their website, XFC. They should be able to find the information from there. I think it's streamed through Fox Sports on their website. It should be somewhere.
Fox Deportes.
Yeah. If you guys want to catch my fight, you can follow me on social media. I'll post where you can watch me fight. My social media information is Jett MMA on Instagram, at Jett MMA Instagram. It's JETT, and then it's also Jett Grande MMA on my athlete page on my Facebook. Then also you can add me on my personal Facebook page, Jett Grande. I just use it as an athlete page as well. So yeah, so that's how you can reach me. I'll find how to watch the fights if you're having troubles.
All right, you heard it, people. I mean, I'd like to thank you for coming on. I see big things for you. I'm hoping to get an interview when you get bigger. Just don't forget us here.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
I won't. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Hopefully
really
we get
enjoyed
bigger then
today.
as well. Honestly, thanks for coming on, man. I mean, you got a great management team. You got great, amateur, and you got, the sky's the limit, man. So
Absolutely.
hope next few years we'll be seeing you in the big organization. So good luck on the fight, August 6th. You heard it, people. Check it out, Jett Grande. Take care, man.
Thank you so much. Yeah, take care.